Hello, I'm Kelley Moore, and I want to be your mayor. Despite efforts made to reduce crime in Saskatoon, we continue to be the crime capital of Canada. In July 2016, Police Chief Wayhill acknowledged that we don't need more officers on the street, but we need to address the root causes of crime: marginalization, housing, addictions, poverty. We need a long-term solution, and the current mayor is not listening. People want to feel safe in their neighborhoods, in their streets, and ensuring safety and security is a fundamental responsibility of the government. I take this responsibility very seriously, and within the first 90 days as mayor, I will strike a mayor's task force that involves key businesses, Indigenous community, newcomer, and community groups with a goal of becoming one of the safest cities in Canada. This task force will involve the following at a minimum: acknowledging the root causes. Reducing crime isn't easy. It requires a number of important steps. The first is acknowledging that there is a problem. We cannot keep doing things the same way and expect different results. We need to address the root cause of the crime through establishing collective solutions. Organizations such as the Community Safety Knowledge Alliance and the Center for Forensic Behavioral Science and Justice Studies are creating a solid base of research in this field. There is much collective data we can bring to the table, and we need to be working together to look at what the indicators are that we're going to be collectively measuring and ensuring that we're pulling together to make sure that we're seeing the results that we need. Working with police is another one of the areas that we'll look at through this task force. I want to work closely through the Police Commission, the Chief, and the police services staff to undertake a full review of the current policing model and funding, set goals, and identify the most successful strategies that have been used in other cities. We also need to diversify and widen citizen participation on the Police Commission. There have been some steps, and I think we can go further. We need a more comprehensive approach. We have to be smart and strategic with a long view in mind, and quite frankly, we need to look at practices such as carding. Another area that we'll need to look at in this task force is around frontline support. One aspect of fighting crime that is rarely talked about is the support for the frontline workers. First responders like fire and ambulance, in addition to police services, see a lot of trauma and need our attention. We need to take care of those who protect us from harm. It's our responsibility to ensure that their counseling and other support needs are being met. Another area to look at is building strong, connected communities. Long-term strategies that are proven to work involve smart planning of neighborhoods that strengthen community. Neighborly eyes on the street, pedestrian activity, local shops and destinations, use of gyms by youth after school. All of these create activity and a sense of purpose and legitimate use in our neighborhoods. Cities can be designed to be less fostering of crime. And how we do that is by building human connection and keeping eyes on the street and people knowing their neighborhoods and connected. I have an urban planning and human service integration background and will be able to bring a very important skill set and experience background to ensuring that our communities are connected and working together. Responsiveness is another area for us to look at. Short-term strategies are equally important in this view. The presence of police officers in all our neighborhoods, on foot, interacting and building relationships with residents is fundamental. Fast response is important, and listening to community concerns, gathering their local knowledge and having them be part of the solution is what we need to do. Emergency preparedness. As mayor, I will ensure that we create a strong, comprehensive emergency services plan. We need to strengthen the plan that is in place so that it will address the just-in-case scenarios, such as extreme weather, noxious spills, such as we had recently further north, contamination, epidemics, and other catastrophes. Safety is more important than just reducing crime. Given all the changes that are occurring in our environment, we must be prepared for all potential outcomes. And the last is priorities. Establishing clear priorities on how to allocate resources will require teamwork. I have complete faith in the excellent service provided by our police services, our social workers, our firefighters, and other frontline workers. We also have excellent community organizations that work hard to create a safe community for us. I look forward to engaging with all of these groups to work together toward a common goal of making Saskatoon one of the safest cities in Canada, and most importantly, safe for our citizens. Thank you. I'm Kelley Moore, and I want to be your mayor.
At his official campaign launch today, Mr. Acheson was asked about the Saskatoon being the crime capital of Canada, and his remarks was, you know what, people in Saskatoon are reporting crime more because they believe that their police service can do something about it, whereas perhaps in other centres people aren't reporting crime because they don't believe anything can be done about it. What do you say to those comments?
Well, the fact of the matter is that we are the crime capital of Canada. We have been for 2 years, and we have been up there for quite a long time, both in terms of the per capita rate as well as the severity of crime. And we need to make sure we are paying attention to this issue, and the fact of the matter is that we're not. It's important that we acknowledge that there's an issue, that we acknowledge the work that we're doing isn't getting the results that we're looking for, and that we have to make sure that we're all working together to get the results and to be the safest city in Canada. We can't accept the status quo in this regard, which I believe that we are settling if we believe that enough is being done. It simply is not. People need to feel safe.
I just want to ask you, the task force that you would create and the other initiatives, have you costed that out? And if you haven't, respectfully, how would you find the money to implement those initiatives in that task force?
My view is that we need to do things differently. We don't need to add more, but we need to look at the work that people are doing right now and redistribute those resources. So as mayor, I would sit down, of course, with the police and the police chief, the commission, and talk about what resources we have currently that we could allocate to assist us with doing this task force. People are there. It's about pulling them all together to work together and engaging through the Knowledge Alliance group that I mentioned earlier, how we can harness the collective energies. It's not about more resources. It's about using what we have differently and more efficiently and effectively.
You mentioned that there's a need to look at carding. What do you see as the problem in Saskatoon right now, and how do you imagine that could be fixed?
Well, we've heard that there are concerns around carding where people who are legitimately users or residents or businesses in a community are being approached by police and inquired about the legitimacy of their presence in an area. And I think we have to have the honest conversation about it. And I don't think that there is room in our community for carding. All people need to feel welcome. I also understand that the police service need to have tools at their disposal, but I don't see carding as being one of them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that will work.
Thank you.